Her first year as a woman. Ain't that something? Beat every in Detroit. She's better than all of you. Does he have to go to the WNBA where he will score 840 points?
Dave Chappelle is back, fearlessly shredding woke culture and leaving Hollywood in chaos. Love bold comedy? Hit subscribe to Woke Voices now for sharp, unapologetic takes, and join the conversation that's flipping the script on cancel culture. Dave Chappelle is back at it, torch in hand, burning the sacred cows of woke culture, while Hollywood melts like a popsicle in July.
I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames this, that it's me versus...
This time, his Netflix special, The Dreamer, has everyone clutching their pearls. And let's be real, it's hilarious. The man doesn't just ruffle feathers, he plucks the whole bird, roasts it, and serves it to you with a side of savage.
Oh my God! Community is not what it is. Do not blame the LGBTQ community for any of this shit. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests.
So why is Hollywood having a collective meltdown? Why does Chappelle keep living rent-free in the minds of the woke mob? And most importantly, why are we loving it? Stick around, and let's dissect this masterpiece of comedic destruction.
But I can't say the word faggot. And she said, because, David, you are not gay. I said, well, Renee, I'm not a nigger either.
Dave Chappelle doesn't just tell jokes. He wields them like a sledgehammer, demolishing the padded walls of woke culture. While Hollywood is busy watering down comedy to a lukewarm oat milk latte, Chappelle is out here serving espresso shots of truth. No sugar, no cream. Let's talk about his legendary cancel culture bit. If you did anything wrong in your life, today, tomorrow, 15 years ago, I'm coming for you. It's satire, yes, but also painfully accurate. Cancel culture has turned into the Olympics of outrage, where Twitter warriors go for the gold in offense archaeology.
You know who I mean. Those people that took 20% of the alphabet for themselves.
And let's not forget his 2021 special, The Closer, where he openly tackled issues surrounding the LGBTQ+ community, particularly trans individuals. Critics claimed he was punching down, but Chappelle made it clear that his comedy isn't about targeting individuals. It's about highlighting societal contradictions. I'd say the letters, but I don't want to conjure their anger. It's too late now. I'm talking about them L's and them B's and them G's and the T's. His story about Daphne Dorman, a transgender comedian who became his friend, was both heartfelt and a devastating critique of the very woke mob that claimed to protect people like her. Tragically, Daphne's story ended in heartbreak, with her taking her own life after being harassed online by the same crowd that decried Chappelle's jokes. It's these layers of reality in Chappelle's comedy that hit harder than any punchline ever could. Of course, the woke brigade couldn't let this slide. But Dave, your jokes hurt people's feelings. To which Chappelle essentially responds, "That's comedy, Karen. He's not your therapist. He's a comedian. His job isn't to validate your feelings, it's to poke fun at the absurdities of life. And if that stings, well, maybe it's time to examine why."
And they've canceled people that are more powerful than me. They canceled J.K. Rowling. My God, J.K. Rowling wrote all the Harry Potter books by herself. She sold so many books, the Bible worries about her. And they canceled her because she said in an interview, and this is not exactly what she said, but effectual.
Remember the 2020 controversy surrounding J.K. Rowling and her views on biological sex? Rowling faced massive backlash, but instead of condemning her, Chappelle came to her defense, not because he agreed with every word she said, but because he believed in her right to express her opinion without fear of cancellation. In The Closer, he quipped, "They started calling her a TERF. I didn't even know what that was, but if I do see one at the club, I'm sure it's a good time." This is classic Chappelle, transforming a heated cultural debate into comedy gold.
She said gender was a fact. And then the trans community got mad as shit. They started calling her a TERF. I didn't even know what the fuck that was. But I know that trans people make up words to win arguments. So I looked it up. TERF is an acronym. Stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminists. This is a real thing. This is a group of women that hate transgender. They don't hate transgender women, but they look at trans women the way
Speaking of gold, here's a challenge. Subscribe to this channel right now if you have a sense of humor. Seriously, over 98% of you are freeloading harder than your cousin at Thanksgiving dinner.
Here's a little history to let you know just how pointless racism is. In New York City, in Washington Square Park, they got these two big trees where they used to hang criminals back in the old days.
Now, let's get into the meat of Chappelle's comedy, the way it holds up a mirror to society and forces us to confront our own hypocrisies. Take his LeBron James joke. If LeBron decided to transition, would he stay in the NBA or move to the WNBA and score 840 points a game? It's sharp, biting, and absolutely brilliant. The joke doesn't mock anyone. It mocks the inconsistency in how society applies its woke ideals. And the best part, by laughing, we're also forced to think.
I know, look, listen. I support the feminist movement, I do, in my own way.
Another standout moment from Chappelle's repertoire is his joke about women's rights during the closer. While discussing abortion, he said, "If you have the right to kill it, I have the right to abandon it." This wasn't about endorsing abandonment. It was about questioning the logic of selective autonomy. The joke forced audiences to wrestle with their own beliefs, and that's the hallmark of powerful comedy.
You get out in that world, Joe, you're famous everywhere. You've never been to these places, but when you get there, they're gonna know you. Or there's a thing that happened to me years ago in London where I was in a restaurant and I was kind of waiting for the table, and when the lady, she asked me my name. She said, "What's your name?" I go, "David." She goes, "Well, this is David on the list. What's your last name?" I go, "Chappelle." And she looks up, and I look around, and everyone's kind of looking. I could tell they had heard of me, but they didn't know that was me.
Right.
It was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This was after I quit the show, but not long after.
Or consider his recent appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast, where Chappelle compared cancel culture to medieval witch trials. He argued that instead of burning witches, society now burns reputations. Rogan, of course, agreed, adding fuel to the controversy fire.
That I was invited to speak to the transgender employees at Netflix, and I refused. That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it, although I am confused about what we are speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not? You said you want a safe working environment at Netflix. Well, it seems like I'm the only one that can't go to the office anymore.
Chappelle's fearless comedy has consequences, but not for him. He's proven he's uncancelable. Instead, it's the woke mob that often implodes. Take the Netflix employee walkout after the closer. Employees demanded Chappelle's special be removed, claiming it was harmful. Netflix stood its ground, with CEO Ted Sarandos stating that comedy should push boundaries, even if it offends. The result? Netflix gained subscribers, Chappelle gained more fans, and the woke mob gained a bruised ego. Then there's the hilarious irony of Chappelle winning a Grammy for the closer, despite the backlash. Hollywood elites were forced to watch him stroll onto that stage, trophy in hand, as if to say, "You can't stop me." This brings us to the larger societal takeaway. When did we decide that being offended is the ultimate sin? Chappelle's humor serves as a reminder that discomfort is often the first step to understanding. Instead of silencing voices, maybe we should ask why those voices make us squirm.
And then the New York Post went to the jail and interviewed my attacker like he was some kind of hero. And I read that interview. Turns out the entire attack was my fault. Yes, I triggered him. I didn't mean.
Take the recent incident at a San Francisco high school where students protested a comedian's set because he joked about pronouns. The comedian later revealed that many students privately told him they found the jokes funny, but were afraid to laugh publicly. This is the chilling effect of cancel culture, where people suppress their authentic reactions out of fear of backlash. And if Hollywood thinks they can stop Chappelle, they're in for a rude awakening. He's not some newbie trying to make it big. He's a cultural icon with nothing to lose.
I was sitting back there, I'm smoking, drinking with the stars. And then 2 Hollywood movie producers came over right to me. "Oh my God, Dave Chappelle," said the leader one. He was obviously gay.
Hollywood thrives on image, and Chappelle's unapologetic authenticity is a threat to their curated facade. He doesn't fit the mold of the sanitized, family-friendly comedian, and that terrifies them. Take Kevin Hart, who stepped down from hosting the Oscars in 2019 over decade-old tweets. Hart apologized, but it wasn't enough for the woke mob. Chappelle later defended Hart in Sticks and Stones, calling the backlash absurd. The difference? Hart played by the rules of cancel culture, while Chappelle refuses to. Hollywood wants comedians to toe the line, but Chappelle? He's out here drawing new lines, crossing them, and then turning around to roast anyone who tries to stop him. In a world where everyone's walking on eggshells, Dave Chappelle is stomping around in steel-toed boots, smashing through the nonsense. He's not just a comedian, he's a cultural force, challenging us to think, laugh, and maybe, just maybe, grow a thicker skin. So here's the real question. Is Chappelle the hero we need in these woke times? Or is he just a guy with a mic and zero chill? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you're part of the woke mob, feel free to write an essay. I'll skim it for laughs. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to Woke Voices and share this video with someone who needs a laugh. Until next time, stay bold, stay unapologetic, and keep roasting the ridiculous. Peace out. Let me know if you want even more examples or adjustments.